Coming up on Network Africa, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan reappoints himself as Sudan's interim leader. A new draft agreement at the COP26 Climate Summit in Glasgow steps up calls on governments to urgently take action. Plus, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken to visit Nigeria, Senegal and Kenya to discuss a wide range of issues on U.S.-Africa policy. Hello and welcome to the program. I'm Layo Adegoke. Sudan's coup leader Abdel Fattah al-Burhan has named a new ruling council with himself as the leader and excluding civilian members of the previous council. He was sworn in on Thursday. General Burhan retained his deputy Mohamed Hamdan Dagalo, who's also known as Hemeti, as well as other senior military leaders to the positions they held before the 25th October coup. The 14-member transitional council also includes civilians, but none from the political coalition that was in power before the coup. Sudan's ousted information minister Hamza Balul termed the new move an extension of the coup and said the people can defeat it and continue the transition. The new council comes into existence despite increasing domestic and international pressure to reverse the coup. A new draft agreement at the COP26 Climate Summit has stepped up calls on governments to urgently tackle climate change. It is asking countries to reveal their plans to massively reduce greenhouse gas emissions at a much faster speed than previously, but it also softens commitments to reduce use of coal and other fossil fuels. It also asks countries to strengthen their support for poorer countries that are fighting climate change, and the deal must be agreed by all countries at the meeting.
Need to pick up the pace and show the necessary ambition on mitigation, adaptation and finance in a balanced way. We cannot settle for the lowest common denominator. We know what must be done. Keeping the 1.5 goal within reach means reducing emissions globally by 45% by 2030. But the present set of nationally determined contributions, even if fully implemented, would still increase emissions by 2030. According to the latest joint analysis of the nationally determined contributions by UNEP and UNFCCC, we remain on a catastrophic temperature rise track well above 2 degrees Celsius.
In the meantime, Egypt has officially been selected to host the COP27 UN Climate Change Conference in 2022. The country's Environment Ministry made this known as the North African country will host the conference in the Red Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh. At the closing plenary of the COP26, Egyptian Environment Minister Yasmin Fouad said Egypt's priorities as host would be climate finance adaptation, loss and damage.
That COP27 will be truly an African COP, where we hope that we can make a breakthrough on priority areas that continue to be a priority for the continent, but for the whole world and the parties, such as climate finance, adaptation, loss and damage, to go along with the progress on mitigation efforts and related aspiration to achieve carbon neutrality.
France is hosting an international conference aimed at ensuring Libya sticks to its plan to hold elections in December. World powers are also expected to endorse efforts to remove foreign armed forces in the country. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris is to attend the talks in Paris, as well as Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, and also in a rare visit to Western Europe, Russia's Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. The meeting comes amid deepening political wrangling within Libya, which observers say threatens to unravel the country's peace process. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will make his first official trip to Africa next week, visiting Kenya, Nigeria and Senegal from the 15th of November to the 20th. The State Department says Mr. Blinken would meet the presidents of all three countries and deliver a speech on U.S.-Africa policy. On the first leg of his visit to Kenya, he's expected to discuss regional security issues such as Ethiopia, Somalia and Sudan. And also wider discussions are expected to include climate change and also bringing an end to the COVID-19 pandemic. Between 1992 and now, over 1,400 journalists have been killed, with those behind their deaths facing no accountability. Following this trend, the People's Tribunal on the murder of journalists has opened at The Hague on the International Day to End Impunity for Crimes Against Journalists to raise awareness. The panel consists of 9 judges and will have 5 hearings within 6 months to promote a better standard for seeking justice for journalists around the world. Our correspondent Millicent Walker reports.
United Nations data collected in 2021 on threats of violence and crimes against journalists shows the impunity rate is continuing at 87%. That represents a high rate to previous years. Out of 139 journalists killed between 2011 and 2020 in the 4 countries in Latin America and the Caribbean with the highest numbers of killings, 41% of them had received threats prior to the assassination. The majority of journalists are killed in their country of nationality. Among the 400 journalists killed from 2016 to 2020, 22, that's about 6%, were foreigners. An assessment by A Safer World for the Truth initiative says that in 8 out of 10 cases, the killers are set to go free, emphasizing that killing the truth appears to be the world's safest crime.
Welcome, everyone.
Hoping to put an end to this, Free Press Unlimited, Committee to Protect Journalists and Reporters Without Borders are joining forces to investigate, to document, to pursue justice and create a safer world for the truth.
A safer world for the truth is needed to seek justice, to prove cold cases can be investigated, to find new evidence and push judicial authorities to reopen these cases and bring justice for the sake of the truth.
In 2019, there were no perpetrators successfully prosecuted in 86% of the cases.
At least 8 out of 10 cases are in complete impunity, which means, and that has been determined across borders, that no cases have been heard, not investigations opened, but also where there is no access for victims to opening those cases, and there are no judges actively listened during these sessions.
It's also a situation some journalists in Africa, including Nigeria, continue to face. In August 2019, Daddy Yatta, a critic of the government, went missing, with reports claiming that he was abducted by armed men while driving into his residence in Kaduna. A report from the Nigeria Union of Journalists on Press Freedom documents at least 300 violations affecting about 500 journalists, media workers and media houses in the country from 2016 to 2020. The increasing rate of violations of media professionals and members of their families is a clear signal that journalists are now being deliberately targeted as a result of the work they do.
Unfortunately has limited capacity to include more cases. But in this opening hearing, we've aimed to include as many stories as possible from all over the world. So one of the important expert testimonies in the opening hearing came from the regional director for West Africa for Article 19, Fatou Jagne Senghor, who spoke on deteriorating press freedom, particularly in West Africa, and the role that emblematic cases of murders of journalists.
Journalists all around the world are harassed, arrested, kidnapped and murdered for doing their job, for finding the truth, something the People's Tribunal hopes to stop. Millicent Walker, Channels Television News.
Mozambique's President Filipe Nyusi has appointed Asenia Felicidade as the country's first female interior minister. He has also appointed a new minister for national defense, Gustavo Chume. The previous ministers in charge of defense and interior security were both fired this week. Mr. Chume is a major general noted for commanding the forces that recovered many towns, including Mocimboa de Praia in the jihadist-hit Cabo Delgado province. Ms. Masenge was, before her appointment, the Chief Commissioner for Immigration. She has also worked in the past as the Provincial Police Commander in Inhambane, Manica and Nampula provinces of the country. While still in Mozambique, the country says it will appeal against the decision by a South African court to extradite its former finance minister to the U.S. over a $2 billion loan scandal. The Attorney General's office says its lawyers will ask the Constitutional Court in Johannesburg to reverse the decision. Mr. Manuel Chang has been held in South Africa since 2018 at the request of the U.S. authorities, but Mozambique wants him to face charges in his own country. However, he denies allegations relating to huge loans taken out by the Mozambican government, supposedly to buy a new fleet of fishing and maritime security vessels. South Africa's Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has announced the country's mid-term budget policy statement, reporting better than expected finances for South Africa. The minister said even though the economy grew faster than expected in the first half of 2021, output is expected to return to pre-pandemic levels in 2022. Now, this is largely the result of global demand, higher commodity prices, and the easing of lockdown restrictions.
The medium-term budget policy statement charts a course that demonstrates government's unflinching commitment to fiscal sustainability, enabling long-term growth by narrowing the budget deficit and stabilizing the debt. We now expect the South African economy to grow by 5.1% in 2021, from a 6.4% contraction in 2024. Over the next 3 years, the growth of the local economy is expected to average 1.7%, reflecting some structural weaknesses such as inadequate electricity supply.
Chief of UN's Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix has been speaking on the developments of the Action for Peacekeeping initiative. He was briefing participants at the UN Security Council. Mr. Lacroix says the Interagency Task Force on Policing is integrating UN strengths and advantages and continues to reinforce partnership with regional and sub-regional organizations. Other police commissioners present also called for the establishment of new police service offices and also for the inclusion of women.
In addition to integrating more technical tools and innovation in peacekeeping, the Women, Peace and Security agenda is infused in all aspects of A4P+ and remains the foundation for improving our overall effectiveness. Gender-responsive policing efforts by the United Nations Police ensure that the different security needs of men, women, girls and boys are considered. With the support of our member states, the United Nations Police has already achieved its gender parity targets for 2025, and I'm very pleased that 5 of our police components are currently headed by women, including Police Commissioners Lusala and Bugani. We will continue to count on your assistance in helping us expand and sustain these numbers.
I urge the Council to impress upon the two governments to immediately establish the joint ABA police service. Moreover, the establishment of the Office of the Public Defender in ABA will facilitate judicial action and alleviate the conditions in the detention centers. The governments of Sudan and South Sudan should be encouraged to provide basic services across the ABA area. Meanwhile, AMPO continues to deliver on its mandate, adapting to realities on the ground.
Still to come on the program. Our Africa Tech segment discusses the adoption of non-fungible tokens in Nigeria. Please stay with us. Welcome to our Africa Tech segment. Recently, there has been a lot of buzz about cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, Bitcoin and the likes. But how often do we hear about NFTs? NFTs, also known as non-fungible tokens, are unique assets that can be represented by any digital asset on the Ethereum blockchain. With NFTs, one can create a digital certificate of ownership that can be bought and sold. It has been likened to buying an autographed print. Although NFTs have been around since 2014, we're seeing an exponential rise in the past months, especially as they become a popular way to buy and sell digital artworks. Well, joining us now is Eric Asomuga, founder Blockchain Breeders, to help us understand this new adoption of NFTs. Thank you so much for speaking to us on the program. For the benefit of our viewers, do explain further what non-fungible tokens are.
Well, thank you for having me. There is no definite definition of NFT, but we know that NFT is non-fungible token. It uses blockchain technology for its creation and distribution. You know, it truly verifies true ownership of a digital asset. And NFT is really important today. People think that it's hyped. But on the other hand, it is not. I believe that this is the time for this subsection of the blockchain technology. An NFT, like we all know, actually is traded in decentralized exchanges and special exchange platforms known as marketplace. So, but we also have to understand that one of the major importance of NFT is it certifies ownership. It is very difficult to falsify the authenticity of any project when it comes to NFTs. But the key important thing here is the authentication or the authenticity of any digital assets.
Well, it appears they are in demand. Apologies. It appears they are in demand now, just like you have said, becoming the latest investment trend. What would you say is the reason for this?
Come again, please.
I was asking about, you know, what you think the reason is they are in demand and they're becoming the latest investment trend.
Yeah. It's just very simple. When you have your project and you can truly certify that it belongs to you. So a situation like that would drive more people into the market. It will drive more artists because they are sure that their artwork is being certified and no one will be able to falsify whatever they've produced. Not only that, there's the income part of it. What you've done, you're receiving the income directly. There is no middleman in between you and your creation because everything is registered on the blockchain.
Well, like you've just mentioned about artists, it's also creating a medium for these artists to showcase and monetize their works. We're seeing Nigerian art creators beginning to shift to this digital world through NFTs. Explain to us how this craze, you know, would help them go global. What impact would it have on their industry? Right, it appears we have lost audio from Mr. Eric Asomuga, who is the founder of Blockchain Breeders. Let's head now to Egypt's coastal city of Alexandria to meet with a doctor who left his career in medicine to follow his passion of upcycling wood from sunken ships and is using it to create unique chairs and furniture.
Egyptian orthopedic surgeon Shahir Majed upcycles wood of sunken ships into furniture in his hometown. The 45-year-old furniture maker started his business in 2015, creating intricate pieces of furniture that carry the history of the pieces of wood that once traveled the sea. The doctor-turned-carpenter says his projects support a culture of green furniture by giving a new life to discarded wood of sunken ships.
It is unique for so many reasons. First, every piece is one of a kind. Only one piece of it is in the whole world, just like paintings, because every piece is made from different pieces of wood of different shapes and sizes. Wood at sea has a very strong character because it takes the colors of the ships. It has holes where nails used to be. It has history and character.
Majed deploys certain techniques to shape the pieces of wood, which he says are unique due to their shapes, sizes, and the absence of insect infestation. He sometimes works on the wood, following designs he created beforehand, but specific pieces can also inspire him to build a unique chair or couch. His study of orthopedic surgery allows him to create modern yet comfortable pieces of furniture for his clients. He sells his pieces among his circle of friends, online, or puts them on display in certain exhibitions.
I don't only focus on how beautiful a piece is, but how to sit on the chair without back pain, despite the fact that the chair does not have pillows or anything. I just took some time in studying its function.
His brand is named Gazwarine, Arabic for the huge pine trees that used to grow near Alagami Beach, where Majed lives.
Let's head now to the UAE to see Nigerian teen Joseph ADEDEJI, who's been named winner of an award by the Hague for Earth Foundation. Our correspondent Mayowa Adegoke has more.
18-year-old Nigerian Joseph ADEDEJI takes to shine at the Nigeria Pavilion. On what should have been the country's National Day celebration at the Expo 2020, his imagination has attracted the world's attention, and this makes up for the postponed event.
Hi, my name is Joseph ADEDEJI, and my dream is to wake up and see a world with economic and political stability.
ADEDEJI's dream video won the Hague for Earth Foundation's Dream for Earth Award, and that won him a trip to the expo.
I saw the advert on Facebook. I have a setting on Facebook that brings anything that have to do with United Nations or competitions, challenge to me. So I saw this competition on Facebook. Then I went to use an app. I also saw the advert in an in-ad app. I went to a game. So I also saw the same advert. Went to YouTube. I saw the same advert. So I decided to check it because in the description I saw something that has to do with share your dream with the UN SDG goals. So and I love the SDG goals. So I decided to read more. Then I got interested in the competition and I decided to prepare. So I started writing. I started preparing like a write-up for the video.
His dream got more than 7,000 likes. And we had 1,200 dreams from 61 countries.
I mean, youth are the future, and it's the youth that are going to inherit the planet after the older generations. So we need to focus absolutely on the youth and to teach them about to take care of the planet, teach them about how to fight poverty, teach them about how to be more healthy, and so on and so forth.
Hague for Earth's ongoing hackathon is domiciled at the Swiss Pavilion and aims to promote citizen-driven innovation that creates real solutions for the future.
We took all the dreams and we created challenges upon them. So this is basically taking the dreams of people of the world and making them come true for our future. So right now, actually, there are more than 120 countries, teams from more than 120 countries participating in this global online hackathon. And actually, the most participants are joining from Nigeria. So more than, I think, 45 teams are joining from Nigeria among the 120 countries. So that's really an amazing achievement. A lot of people in Nigeria are very passionate about creating change for our future.
The art student who hopes to someday become a diplomat has several tech skills and also has a team participating in the competition.
Our solution name is called Mimo. We are trying to build a virtual pharmacy which we like diagnose you. Everything that a pharmacy will do to you, this app will be able to do it.
Already there are a lot of people from Nigeria that have applied for this and have made submissions. So we're looking forward to hosting more Nigerians and more Nigerian winners at the Nigerian Pavilion.
ADEDEJI's fate at the Nigerian Pavilion is expected to set off a series of other events in the coming days.
I'm just so excited and proud that it was a Nigerian that won out of all the countries. So that's great.
Well, safe to say that National Day became Joseph's Day at the Nigerian Pavilion at the Expo 2020 site. The official National Day will now be December the 3rd. From the Nigerian Pavilion at the Dubai 2020 Expo site, Mayowa Adegoke for Channels Television News.
Well, congratulations to Joseph Adedeji. That's it on the program for today and for the week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Layo Adegoke.